Hey, welcome. It's raining outside again, so I'm not going out. But nonetheless, this is what we've gotten done this month. Actually, I thought we'd do a show on wiring, but I knew how much you guys were looking forward to that. I mean, I can't think of anything more exciting than doing wiring than watching it. I mean, wow, it's just riveting. But nonetheless, we will show you some of the things we are working on and some of the wiring that we are doing. But I'm going to continue on with backdrops. You know, last month I showed you what I had been working on. And finally, it only took me 8 tries, and voila, we have this done. And I'm very pleased with the backdrop. And I want to thank Paul Rising for the clinic he put on. That was really helpful. Got a couple new products that I'll show you about here a little later on. And also my fellow YouTubers, where a lot of this I actually learned from YouTube, watching painting videos and learning the techniques. And that's really all this is. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a microbiologist by trade. This is not what I do for a living. And I figured it out. And it took me 8 tries. And I'm going to show you a lot of what I did. But the primary part of learning how to paint backdrops is blue paint, and having 5 gallons of it sitting around so that when you make a mistake you just pull out the roller and go right back over it again so you can keep going is really a lot of what I've done. I would say this, I'm now a professional blue painter. I can paint blue like nobody you've ever met. But that being said, this was not that difficult. And it did take some time to learn. It did take some times of trying different things and finally coming up with what worked for me. You can do this. It's really not that challenging. And I like the effect. I think it came out really nice, and I really am pleased with the result. And as you can see, I have a train sitting here in front of it. It does give the image. Look at this, is less than 12 inches here, and yet it has great depth in it. And I'm very pleased with it. So I'm going to show a little bit of how I painted it. I'm not going to focus on the what I've already showed you in the last video, which was, you know, painting the mountains and things like that. But I will show you some products and some tips that it did help me out a lot with that. And then I'm going to go through some of the electronics that we're working on. So and then I'm going to show you how I painted the front hills and the grassland in front, which I think is probably something that everyone can learn to do, whether it's spring, summer, winter, or fall, although I don't know how it would work in winter. I got winter in the back, but I don't know. I've got a winter scene coming up on the other side as when I do Palmer Lake, there'll be snow there. So we'll see how that works out, and I'll probably do a video on that as well. But this is the prairie grasslands, and it is the fall, and I'm very pleased with the results. So in any case, let's flip the camera over, and I'll go through some of the products that I used, some tips that I can give you that will be helpful. A little short video on painting the hills and all that are here in the grasslands. And then also I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming projects that we're working on in the wiring. I mean, it is wiring, right? You're all just waiting to hear how I took 2 wires together and soldered them and everything else. But nonetheless, let's take a look at what's coming up. Well, here we are, and this is probably what you saw on Facebook page. This is the other end of that 24 feet. I actually did this first the first 10 to 12 feet from just around the corner here to just to the first river there. It took me 2 days. To be fair, though, it wasn't 2 full days. I actually painted a little bit, then went in and sat on the couch and was lazy, let it dry, and then came back out again. So the last 12 plus feet I did took me 6 hours, maybe a little less, and just sitting here. And I actually did some filming at the same time. So you can see you can get this done fairly quick. Backdrops are really important because they really set the scene. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to go over some products I learned from. Let's talk about the clouds. The clouds here I've always used simple Rust-Oleum primer It's the finest mist spray I can use. It works really well. It's flat. It's really handy. It doesn't have a sheen, which is really very important for me when I'm looking at the clouds. And I did a video on this and putting the clouds up there. And I used the exact same technique that I used in that video there to paint this backdrop. But I went to a clinic from Paul Rising who showed me some of his techniques that he used at painting the backdrops at the Tacoma Union Station, where there's a club layout there. It's a rather large one, very nicely done, extremely fine modeling there. And Paul gave a clinic on this, and I picked up a product from him called Liquitex Professional Spray Paint. A couple advantages to this product. It's latex, so not much odor to it at all. But the primary reason why I like this product is the absolute fine mist that you get out of it. This product makes this look coarse. I'm being fair with you. And to give you an idea, so I paint the clouds right here, but then when I paint the mountains and the foothills back here, there's an overspray of this actually sprayed right onto there, and it gives it kind of that distance feeling. And when you look close at it, you don't see the little specks and little dots on there. It's perfect. You can focus in real close to this, and you really can't see that it's anything more than a white mist that's over it. So I am very pleased with this product. Can't recommend it enough. It is a little pricey. This can you can get for about $5 to $7, depending on where you get it at. This is almost 20. So the can is a much more fuller feel than this can here, but not much different. They're about the same, but it is a little more expensive. So, but it's well worth it. Follow the techniques that they showed of cleaning out, turning upside down, spraying it for 5 seconds will help keep this sprayer open so you can use the whole can. Really important on doing that. Painting the backdrop, I use basically 8 colors. White, which is my primary color next to yellow. Raw sienna, burnt sienna, and raw umber, burnt umber. Really important. The only other 2 colors I used in this is my green for my trees in the back, which is mixed with white and a couple other things, and a lamp black. Now I use, for painting my base coats, now base coats are the coats that go on first. For the mountains here, I use simple white latex paint. And I simply went down to Home Depot because they're the closest to me, and I bought this sample. This is about 7.5 ounces, and I paid $3 for it. This is my base coat for my green trees. It's an olive drab color. This one in particular is called artichoke leaf. But that's just the base color, and those base colors are the light. You paint in the light, and then you add the dark so your light colors pop back through again when you're stippling. And then you can come back in later on. Now, because I'm putting snow caps over them, that's the direction I want to go. If I was working the other way, where I was going to have a summer scene, I'd put the dark in first and then hit it with my light highlights. Just things I picked up when doing this. I had more luck with putting the light down first and then coming back in. These paints are nice and inexpensive, but they're designed to cover. When we paint a wall, we want it to cover whatever color is there. So these are not really very translucent. They're not opaque at all. They're very solid, and the goal is to get the color up there and have it show. The advantage of these latex paints and the Liquitex here is they're kind of opaque. So they leave in that very opaque color so that the colors you paint underneath them still will rise through. And that's the difference between painters, as in a painting paint, and wall paint. Wall paint is designed to cover. So just be aware of that. And that's the only difference between them. These are not that expensive. I didn't buy the cheapest, but I didn't buy the most expensive. I think one of these little, I think these are 4-ounce tubes, cost me $4 or $5. The bigger tubes, which are about 2.5 times the size of that smaller tube, is about $10. And I'm now on my 3rd tube of white, because white mixes with everything, and of course being base yellow, that's the other color that gets mixed in. This yellow, as it is too dark for doing a lot of the scenery, but you add the yellow and you make it kind of a buttery color. That's how you do painting. Works really fine, and it worked really good, and you'll see me do that later on. But in any case, that's kind of what we've been doing with the painting. So I'm going to go into painting, and then I'm going to come back and talk about some of the electronics that we're adding in. Seth Newman sent me my RFID reader. I'm going to show you a little bit of that. And I finally am going to announce the logo we're going to use. I asked, and really I had only one person contribute, and I thought their logo was more than acceptable. And so we're going to use that as the logo, the official logo for the Colorado Front Range. So in any case, let's get back to you, and we're going to go on to how I painted the walls and did the near grounds and things like that, and you can see it in. I'm actually going to make a mistake and show you how you can cover it up. It's really cool. In any case, let's take a look at that. Okay, here we are. Now, I've got basically 3 brushes that I like to use. These brushes, this white one is a little more coarser on the end, where these two are, what is it? This is a real hog hair brush, and these are synthetic hair brushes. And I like the synthetic hair brushes for making my nice crisp lines along here where I want them. And I like the horsehair brush for kind of getting my blending and going back and forth. Oh, I need another brush too. The other brush I use is really important. That brush is for blending. This is just a simple brush that when I get done painting, I'll kind of want to blend them in some just to kind of make them smooth themselves out a bit. So I use that, and this brush pretty much stays dry. I just use it straight from the raw, just like that. Now the paints I'm going to use, I'm trying to get this color into here. So it's kind of a golden color. So the base color here is, guess what? White and yellow. Got an extra white in case I need it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to simply squeeze onto my palette here. After I get the paint down to the bottom here. And I just squeeze on a little yellow, and I'm very generous. One of these costs about 10. This is a, I think it's a 250 milliliter. That's about $10. It doesn't matter what color it is. It's still $10 for the most part. I get these at Michael's. You can get a Hobby Lobby. Any one of those places work really well. Now I use a lot of yellow as well. And if you're curious, this is nothing more. This is the base yellow that they say cadmium yellow. Everybody seems to use that yellow a lot, and it works really well. You can see that it's pretty fiery colors. Now the other 4 colors I use are, and I talked about them earlier. So the 4 colors I use is, whoop, I'm missing one. I'll find it here. This is, oh, I see it already. Hang on, I'll be back in just a second. Okay, here we go. There we go. So it's I have here some burnt umber, raw umber, burnt sienna, and raw sienna, and then a little Mars black. So my primary colors I like to use the Mars black and the raw umber are very dark colors, and so I'm just going to use just a little bit of those and not much of them. But these 3 colors, the burnt umber, the burnt sienna, and the raw sienna, I use a lot of. And so we're just going to squirt a little of that That's the I believe the raw sienna. Yep. And then the burnt sienna is it's a little red color. And I squeeze a little bit of that on there. And then this is the raw. No, I think this is burnt. Yeah, burnt umber. And that's a very brown color. Nice color, actually. Really like using that a lot. Okay, then the last two, of course, like I said, are the raw umber, which is very dark, and I just gonna put a little bit right here, and it's almost a black. Remember the focal color was the black that was kind of the dirty black. Really, that's really what that color is. Really nice color. And then the Mars black is a pure black. It's got a little green in it too if you really blend it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this right through here. And now I've got drawn in here from my photographs. I've got drawn in some lines in here. I also put in here like where my river is going to go, where the heel is. And then I've got it listed. This is the front heel. This is the middle heel. This is the front heel going through here. And my river is going to wind back in here. So I've got notes on here exactly what it is that I'm painting, because believe it or not, my memory is not as good as it used to be, and you'll forget stuff. So I'm going to start with some white. See, I just scoop it up into there, and I'm going to take some yellow and mix it in there, and I'm going to start trying to make this color right here so I can continue blending. So this is now becoming kind of a butter color yellow, and you can see I'm not really trying to really mix this up. I've got raws and some really different colors in there. I'm going to grab a little of the real light brown here and mix it in there. And you can see I'm not really trying to mix that up real thoroughly. I'm just kind of dabbing it in there to kind of get the colors I want. And then I'm going to smear it out some, and I'm going to start painting. So I'm going to come right into here. Now I have here this line here, so I want to kind of bring this heel in. I think I'm going to just go just like this. Just like that. And you can see, maybe you can't, but let me tell you what. There's streaks of light yellow, streaks of some of the sienna, strong cadmium yellow. It's not a pure mixture. I'm just simply dabbing back into this mess of paint I have here, and I'm just simply putting it on, just laying it down. I'm going to try and make sure that I get everything covered that I want covered. See, this is going to be this foregrass here, so I'm not too worried about going in there, but I'm going to dip down some so I have it covered. And I'm going to go right back up here and make sure I've got this heel. Just kind of, now it's not quite a perfect match there, so I'm going to add a little more here. Let's see if I can't get a little closer to that color. There we go. See, I'm mixing it right there on the wall. You can see me doing it. I'm not doing anything fancy here. I'm just kind of bringing it in, just like so. And if I'm not happy with it, I think, well, it needs a little more. I'm going to make it a little darker here. See, I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors of yellow here I'm working with. And I'll just bring this in just like so. And that's all I'm doing. Now, I'm taking my dry brush here, my blending brush. Remember I talked about this one earlier. And I'm just going to blend it in just like so. I'm not going any farther than that. That's all I'm going to do. And it kind of blends it in, and see, it's already kind of mixing in real nice. And if I'm still not happy with it and I think, no, it needs a little more darker, I can go like this. There you go. And I'll take my dry brush here. There you go. Nice. See? Kind of blends in just like so. So you just keep going right down the line here. And I'm just forming my heel line. So it pushes those mountains back. Let's see here, I got this kind of going down through here a bit. But now what you can't see is this is drywall. And you know how drywall's got, when you paint it, it's got that little pockets in it where the, you know, because the drywall is not perfectly smooth. And all I'm doing is just making sure that all those pockets, so the blue paint that's underneath it is gone. See, this is what I'm talking about getting hairs in my, I'm looking for my paint knife here, so I can lift the hair out of there. So I just really make sure that I get the get those hairs out of there, and then just come back and fix anything that's there. I think I need some more paint here, so and we just make some more up this in here. I try to work with that butter color all still in the same area there, and then I can take that and add in some of the other older color. And if it's too light like it is, just add a little more till I get about what I'm looking for. There we go. Just like that. And I know, it's really incredibly boring, right? But that's all it is to do this, and all I'm doing is just simply painting them in and adding those colors back into it there. And mixing a little more up into it so I can keep going. And if you can take a look at this, I mean, here, I'm going to show you a close-up of the brush. This brush, you can see, it's not one solid color. It's a mixture of colors in there. And that's all I'm doing is just simply taking that and just mixing them and following my heel lines that I've created, and then blinging them together. And then just mixing them in just like so. And it seems a little dark, and I add a little more yellower, and I just kind of mix them in. And I don't try to paint it homogeneous. I really don't. Those streak lines are what make this interesting to look at and creates something. See, there's a little white in there. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And I need some more paint here. Need a lot more paint. I got a long ways to go here. And if it's a little too yellow, add a little more white until I get what I'm looking for. Now this is a farther away heel, so I want it not. I don't want it quite as bright, because you can see the near ground fields in here. They're a little brighter, so I want to keep this down just a little bit. So I'm going to add some more of the. There we go. There we go, just like so. And we'll come back here in a minute. Oh, I got a little mistake I made there. I'll just paint that out. There we go. There we go, just like so. Come back and mix in a little bit. Okay, so I can see right here Yeah, it feels like that's a real nice ridge line there. So I'm going to take a little of this, and I'm just going to, just like so. And then I'm going to just come back in with a little paint. And then we're going to just kind of feather that back into there so it adds a little interest. There you go. And then bring it down here. Now see that kind of created a slight slope there. And that's all I'm doing. I just simply just go, okay, I think I know this. Now this is water here in front of me. And occasionally this paint gets a little dry on the brush. And if I do, and I just barely touch it. And I just simply come in, just like so. And I just, there you go. And then I just kind of bring those colors together so that it, yeah, just like that. And then just take and feather this back a bit. And if you're not happy, just paint it again. Not the end of the world. All right. Now I want to add to this just a bit, so I want to just go just like that. That's it. Just creating some interest there. There you go. And I think that hill needs a little highlighting here. There we go. Just like that. I'm going to add a little red just to give it a little, just a little color there. Just like so. There you go. See some brush strokes here. I want to kind of iron out a bit. There we go. All right, there you go. There's another slope right there. And now we're just going to move down a little farther. And I ran into my paint here, so I'm going to just set this down. I'll move this paint to the other side of the layout so I can just keep painting. There we go. So that is what it takes to basically paint these, paint the backdrop. It's not very difficult, as you can see. I'm not, I'm just painting. I'm trying to paint to match one of these because this is what the ground cover is going to look like. So nothing changed here. Oh, other tools that I'm using here, just so you know. Once again, my my paint palette. And this time I really went high tech. I went to Home Depot and found these nice 4-inch brushes. You find them everywhere at Lowe's. You find them Home Tech. Any home improvement store has them. And these are very cheap brushes. And that's what I want. I want a real rough, jagged edge here. Because I'm going to take this and I'm going to be slapping this just like this on the backdrop here to create that grass effect that I'm looking for. And so I use a 4-inch because it covers a large area and it will blend in real nice. So that's what you need to do this. So again, I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to take a massive white here. This white's almost gone. Oh, we need a lot of paint for this. Okay. And And then I'm going to use my cadmium yellow again. And then really what I'm going to do with the rest of these three, because I'm doing a lot with this, is I'm going to take and add little drops on my palette as I move forward so I can blend it in together. But for the beginning, I'm going to start off right away with some raw umber, or excuse me, burnt umber, and some raw sienna, because I'm going to use, that's two of my primary colors here. And then, oh, you know what? Nah, I'm going to put just a tad of raw umber on here, because I will use it to blend a little bit here. Okay, so now I've got my, going to start right here and work my way to my river line here, and then I'm going to begin over here and work my way all the way across here and all the way across here. I got a little here right here, and then I'm just going to keep going all the way back. So another very useful tool for mixing paint is a paint knife, and I like it just because I can slap this all together and mix it up. Now if I'm not yellow enough, or I'm not getting the color I'm looking for, I'll add a little more. Okay, so that's my base yellow, which, you know, it's kind of about the color of butter. And again, it's not mixed together very well. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull up real close so you can see. I mean, there is literally, you can see different streaks and everything in there. I'm not trying to mix this up nice and fluid. I do the same thing with the hills. Now, I need to tone that down just a bit, so I'm going to put a little bit right there. And that's what I'm going to start with. And then I'm going to take the brush here, and I'm literally going to load it up with paint just like that. See? I'm not even really mixing it very well. And I'm just going to go right here, and I start at the bottom and I blend my way to the top. And I'm letting the brush do the work. All I'm doing is just laying the paint down. That's all I'm doing. Now, if I want to highlight something, I might try to, I want to add just a little darker color here. So I'm just going to go just like that and blend it down into it, just like that. And I'm letting the brush do the work. That's all I'm doing. We'll do it again here. We're getting to the back here, close to the where the river comes in. And I'm going to paint right over that river line. All right, now that's kind of boring. So I'm going to add a little color here. Just like that. And I'm going to blend it in as I'm stamping it. I'm not trying to create the lines. I'm just letting it blend in just like that. It'll give it some looks kind of like a hill then. It's not, you know, it's not naturally all the same color. So you really want to use the advantage of mixing these colors together to get what you want. All right. We're going to go right from here. Just like so. Now, of course, the goal is to get these to look like they belong together. So I'm going to lay them up like this. See? It's a little darker. So we're going to add just a hair more darkness into it. Not too much. Because remember, we want it. The unique thing about grass is prairie grass, and that's what I spent a lot of time in Denver looking at. When I look down at the prairie grass, I can see the soil and everything. But when I look horizontally, I can't see the soil everywhere. I see all the grass sticking up, and so that's a little more yellower. Just heads up on that. All right. There we go, just like that.